This is the fastest way to find a great domain name. And I wanted to show you because I do have a little bit of experience in the past about buying and selling and flipping domain names. And so I want to give you a 10-minute trick to find the best Shopify store name. Why am I doing it? Because I'm actually building a Shopify store. And this is the standard process of how I find great domain names for $10, $12. I don't have to go out and buy them from somebody else. I buy original domain names or names that have come back into the system. And this is just a neat little trick on how to do it and how to do it fast. And what you want to do is you want to run through, let's see here, I'll go ahead and start the show here. You want to find an available domain name. Not that somebody owns, but one that is available in GoDaddy or Namecheap or one of these other registrars. And you want to run hundreds of different variations to find names that are available. Now, if you take the time and you're trying to think of one name at a time, it's going to take you forever and you're not going to get some creative solutions. So I want to give you the best way to do this. I use a program and it came out a long time ago. It's called Domain Name Pro. And I think it's still sold and it does run on Windows 10. I don't know if it runs on Mac. But here are the two rules I want to give you. Only buy .com names. The reason is you can get other extensions cheaper, but if you're buying a Shopify store, the idea here is that you want to flip that store at some point in time and sell it to somebody. Shopify stores are great because they're not tied to your server. They're not tied to anything that you own personally. They're hosted somewhere else, and they can be sold as a store on Flippa. And the cool thing is you get enough traffic, enough sales as you're going to increase the value of the store just through the name and the branding that you do, but also the traffic to it. So you want to have a great domain name to start, something memorable. No numbers, no hyphens, no symbols. Those are throwaway domain names. People, they may remember it because it's kind of catchy, but don't try to get cute on it because eventually they'll just totally forget what the domain is. You want short domain names. I try to get mine under 15 characters, 15 plus the .com. And once you find your group, you want to filter to available domain names. You don't want to go chasing after ones that are already registered. And you export it to a CSV file using Domain Name Pro. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to review and rank them. And so what I do is I take my huge list of CSV names and I put it into Excel or Google Sheets. I create 2 extra columns, and these are really important. This determines your popularity of your domain name. You want to have a column based on the length. A shorter domain name is more popular, easier to remember, and sells better. And you want to rank them. Once you sort them by length of the characters, then you want to rank your favorites. What I do is I sort by length smallest to largest, and then I rank the names 1 to 5. And some of them, if they're in there and you don't even like them at all, don't even bother putting a number with them. But I try to find the best ones, and then I can sort by ranking. And then I actually have my favorite one pop to the very top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do this. And then lastly, you want to buy the domain. You don't want to put it out for public consumption or voting. Go ahead and buy the domain. And then if you want to buy several of them, put them out there to vote, that's fine. You already own them. But whenever you post a really great domain name, there's a great likelihood that somebody is going to think that is a great domain, and they're going to go buy it before you do. So buy it first before you start posting it. So here's my 2 favorite registrars. I use GoDaddy. They have the absolute best customer support, especially if you're doing WordPress. Great, great company to use. Namecheap I've started using them a lot more lately with if I'm doing any custom domains or I'm doing some white label overlay domains with some of the products that are coming out. Like if I want to forward a domain or use a CNAME inside of the DNS of the name, and I'm not going to actually host it anywhere. I like Namecheap using it that way. So with Shopify, you might actually want to do this because you get the privacy included for free, and you get a free SSL with it. So that's why I would use maybe Namecheap if I'm going to forward the domain anywhere. And then you just go ahead and buy them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over, I'm going to show you the exact steps that I use. And it really doesn't take that long if you're using the right tool. So I'm going to bring over I've used this forever. In fact, I know how old it is. Auction Marketing Pro was one of the first domain names I bought when I was doing eBay auctions. And this was probably back in 2007. So I know that I registered it under that. So the software is over 10 years old, but it's still the absolutely best software to use. So what I did was I'm building a bike cycling store. And so I wanted to use my word group here is cycling, bike, bicycle, biking. And these are I was just thinking store, offer, gadgets. What I'm going to sell are accessories to bicycles. And also I may get into running too. So I don't want to I want to stay focused more on biking, but if I have a name that has running in it, that's great. And then these are just modifiers. So what I did was these words have to be at the start if they're even going to use them. It's optional. I want 8 alternatives, so I'm going to build a really big list using the thesaurus that's built in. Then with my cycling, I'm only using 2 additional alternates. But it can be anywhere. It could be at the front, it could be at the middle, or at the end of your domain name. And then at the middle or end, I want the word store, offer, gadgets, gifts, tools. And this one's going to be optional. So I'm going to try a whole bunch of variations, and this is why I use this one. Now, I only want .coms. I don't want anything else. I don't want any NetSpeak words or acronyms. NetSpeak are the numbers, the dashes, hyphens. I don't want no hyphens in here at all. Popular alternatives, I leave that set at 3. Maximum words, I don't want any more than 5 words, and maximum length is 15. If it's over 15 characters, I don't even care about it. It's too hard to remember. So what I did was, once I got all that setting, I hit start, and then it will go through, and what it's going to do, in fact, I'm going to remove my filter. It's going to start out by taking these words, combining them in different setups, different scenarios, like cycling, clothing. So it took an alternate from here and added the word cycling. Then it put .com, and then it tested. It went out to see if that domain is already registered. Okay, now you have this list of names here, and it goes down to 300. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click and filter applied, and it defaults to available domain names. So that's all you have to do. And then once you're there, stop scrolling here, right-click again, and you want to export the results as a CSV file. And I had already exported this list and I just called it Bike Store. And then that's all you need out of Domain Name Pro. Now you come over here to Excel. So what I did was I went up to Insert. Actually, I went to Data. And then this right here is from Text CSV. And it brings all this in automatically. And I changed the name of these 2 columns because they were empty. So this one is called Size, and this one's called Rating. And the way I did this was I went in, created, select the category as text, and I came down here to length. And then I chose the column there. Okay, so it's 14 characters total. So I want to subtract the last 4, which is the .com. So now I have the total length of that. And then I copied, just pasted it all the way down. And then once you're done there, do one more thing before you do any sorts, is copy that, come over here and paste just the number format. And it takes those equations and converts them into values so you can do a sort with it, okay? Then what I did was I went in here and smallest to largest. And what I'm looking at is the domain itself. How does it sound? Does it fit in my concept as I want a biking store on Shopify, or a cycling store, or maybe a running cycling store? So I rated between 1 to 5, 5 being the best. And I just went down the list here, looking at each of these domain names. And all these are available to purchase, and they'll range anywhere from 12 to 15 depending on what type of coupons you have with the registrars. So I went in and I just ranked them, and you can see there's a lot of great, like quick biking, story biking, drive gadgets. I like this, and I may use it for another Shopify store down the road. So anyway, after ranking them, then you come back up here, and what I'm using is what they call a data filter. And you can do a query off of it, but you set up your data filter right here. So once you highlight that, you can click that and it puts a data filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, don't give me blanks, but show A to Z. Oops. Let's do this one more time. Take that out. So now my focus is just on the ones that I rated. And you go through this list 2 or 3 times and rate them. And what you're going to end up having is you're going to have names that you like and names that you really like. So I love this name, Fast Biking. I like Drive Gadgets also. Run Bicycle, Running Cycling. So I could have a store that's running and cycling. In fact, that may be a better one than Drive Gadgets or Run Bicycle. And it's 14 characters long. It's still within my 15 character limit there. And I'm going to move this one up to 4. Biking offer. It's good. It's not the best one, I don't think. Useful cycling. So that tells what type of gadgets they are. Things that, but people that are into cycling, speed is one of the top 3 hot buttons that you can. So that's why I like Fast Biking and Drive Gadgets. And I'm going to move Run Bicycle. I'm going to move it down to a 2. And then just save it. Now you have some of the best domain names that you can have for a Shopify store. And guys, here's the trick to it, is create fan pages. Go ahead and buy these domains. Create fan pages with them. Send content to them. And you could actually have multiple stores if you want. Or you can redirect all those URLs into the single one. So I'm probably either going to do Drive Gadgets or Fast Biking, but I may buy a couple more of these and just forward them over. And at some point in time, you want to build a second store, you already have that domain that you liked back a year ago. Or if you sell this, and this is the trick too, is if you decide to sell a domain name and a store together, you want to just flip it. Well, guess what? Everything that you set up already in the store, you can copy, and then you can upload it to a new store. So let's say I start out with Fast Biking, build the store, flip it for $10,000, $20,000 down the road. Well, I could take everything I just did and put it into Biking Offer and make another store exactly. So anyway, this is a very, very quick way to find a great domain name using Domain Name Pro and a spreadsheet. So hopefully this is useful information that you can use down the road. This is Damon Nelson with VidPenguin Productions.